Hi. So this is what I look and sound like when I get out of bed when I'm trying to wake up. I don't know if it's the autism or just me as a person, but it takes me like an hour to an hour and a half to get functional. So anyway, we're going to do another unmasked video where I don't put on my professional voice and I don't edit out the pauses or anything, because I'm still dealing with just a little bit of remnants of autistic-based depression. And if you saw the first video, it'll make sense. If you didn't, this will just be like, what? What are you talking about, loser? We have some big news for the channel. Things are going back to the normal content this week. And I will talk about that in just a bit. But first, I need to wake up and feel like a human, because that's a part of fighting this depression. And so far, it has really, really helped. So I'm going to continue that by getting in the shower and putting on some real human clothes. And then we're going to do a little bit of chores around the house and talk about what's coming up on the channel. So suck it.
If you like to talk to tomatoes.
Okay, so what do we have going on? Tomorrow, I am going, oh shoot, I forgot I've got whites in there already. Tomorrow, I am going to the next town over, and I am doing a walkthrough of the next house we'll be cleaning. And it's a pretty bad one. But the big thing is that we're getting back into actual cleaning again. And the lack of cleaning has not been on purpose. I mean, it was the holidays, and what was that? Okay. It was the holidays, and also I've had a massive amount of stuff going on with this house. Like I've told you guys before, there was a lot of stuff I had to get done with this house before I could help other people. It was not really functional, and the actual condition of the house, even aesthetically, was enough to just be devastating. Like it had to be fixed. And so that's what I've been working on for the past couple of months. Get off of me. And that's why we haven't been cleaning houses for free lately. We're getting back into that again. And I've got a house that I'll be doing a walkthrough tomorrow. And then after that's done, we've got another one that's somewhat close to my area. Then after that, we've got some that are a little bit more, I don't know, out of the way, but I'm still considering them. Like I'd have to get a hotel in order to do these other ones. But the point is that we have a ton of places to do. We have no shortage of those. All right, jeans and colors, delicates, whites are in there, some towels, and towels can go within something else. Okay, cool. By the way, you don't have to bleach your whites every time, and in fact, I would suggest not bleaching them every time. That helps with stains and stuff, yeah, but your whites are not always stained, and they don't need bleached every single time. Bleach can be really corrosive to fabric, so I only use it when I have to. I do use fabric softener, though, on a lot of stuff, because that's how I roll, son. I'm out of breath, by the way. You're gonna have to just put up with me panting and grunting. Go hot, whites, it auto senses, because hell yeah it does. All right, delegates can go over here. Let's go in the other room. Okay, so some things that I wanted to address. One, I put those chair seats on there like that on purpose because when you sit on these chairs over time, and I've had family members with these since the 70s, and so I've sat on these forever. When you sit like this, your legs are on the bendy part, the curvy part. If this is here, what happens is your legs rub on that piping over time. It gets dried out, it cracks, and then if you wear shorts while you're sitting on it, the little piping pokey parts stick your legs and like scratch them. So I always turn them around. They're fine. They're not backwards. I put them on there on purpose. I'm only mentioning it because I get hundreds of comments saying, I think your chair's on backwards. It's like, no, put them on there like that because I want them on there like that. Anyway, I'm so tired. The other thing that I wanted to address, let's come over here while I do some dishes. I only have a few. Is that in my last video where I was unmasked, I had a lot of people saying some things that were very well intentioned. And the things that they said were not offensive by any means. But there were some misunderstandings about some of the stuff that I was talking about. So the first was I mentioned that there was some cheese balls, that the texture was off, and it freaked me out. And a lot of people were like, well, everybody has texture things. And what I failed to mention, this was my fault, was that the texture difference sent me into a full-blown panic attack. It wasn't just a case of, ooh, I don't like those textures, I'm not gonna eat these anymore. It was me losing my breath and feeling my heart rate rise, and it was just, it wasn't a long panic attack, it was just like diving into an ice bath and thinking it's gonna be warm, and it turns out it's just full of ice. But there was the more important, that's a very minor thing. The more important part was I had a lot of people saying, one, well, I wouldn't have guessed that you're autistic because you look and sound totally normal. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, there's a comedian that cracks me up who's autistic, and when people tell him that, he's like, well, yeah, I'm not eating crayons. It makes me laugh every time I hear that. But the other thing was, what was it? I've lost my whole train of thought, and that's, again, part of the autism and depression, is my brain gets foggy. Oh, masking. So there's a gross misunderstanding of masking. And I don't mean gross as in icky. I mean just a very, very large misunderstanding of what masking is and how it manifests in autistic people. So I think, I actually did a video on this for the members yesterday, but I think it deserves to have more light and more earballs than just a select group of people. So masking, I think a lot of people think of as like another personality that you put on, or that you're pretending to be something you're not, because I think that a lot of people consider masking to be like, well, when you're at a job interview, you put on your professional or polite mask, and when you're dating, you put on your charming mask, and then whenever you get home, you take that off and be the quote-unquote real you. But masking doesn't quite work like that for autistic people. Masking for autistic people is as much a part of our personality as what we're like when we're at home doing our normal everyday things. So masking isn't us pretending to be something else. It's a part of our personality. There are two ways that I like to think about this, and one is it's like having an indoor voice and an outdoor voice. You don't consciously think about the fact that you talk a little louder when you're outside, or that you talk a little softer when you're inside. It's kind of a natural part of who you are. It's what you've been conditioned to do. You don't need to consciously, by choice, put on an effort to not make fart jokes in front of the Pope. You just naturally just don't make fart jokes in front of the Pope. It's also a thing where, like, the way I explained it to my members is, it's like if it's 30 degrees outside right now, I can walk outside and not get like seriously damaged by the cold. I can walk out with no jacket. I can do my thing. I can not worry about frostbite, and it would just be really uncomfortable. I don't need to consciously think I need to put on a jacket before I go out there in order for me to feel more comfortable. I just walk by my coat rack, grab a jacket, and put it on, and that just makes things more comfortable for me. But imagine that instead of just the jacket, somebody has put 50 pounds worth of weight in the pockets. And so, yeah, you're more comfortable because you're not as cold because you have your jacket on, but also you're carrying around this really heavy jacket. And you just, after a while, it starts to become more and more noticeable. And when you get home and you take off the jacket and you continue on with your day, it just feels better. There are also times where the temperature outside is a nice room temperature, 72 degrees, and you can walk outside without a jacket. And that's what it's like for us to be around people who we're really comfortable with and who we're friends with, people we can make fart jokes around and not have to worry about offending them. Those are the people that we just naturally don't, the mask doesn't appear. And I think that's the big thing, is the mask isn't something we put on. The mask is something that appears from situation to situation. I think that a lot of people think that masking is a choice. That in this situation, I choose for people to not see me as my authentic autistic self. So therefore, I'm going to put on this mask so that they're not uncomfortable and I'm not uncomfortable. But it's not really a choice thing that most autistic people do. There are autistic people who do go that far, but I don't think that's the norm. I think that masking is an involuntary reflex to situations and to social situations. It's a really funky thing to think about because I think masking exists in everyone to a certain degree, but the way that it's utilized is different from neurodivergence point to neurodivergence point. And so people who are neurotypical tend to use it as a way to get through an uncomfortable situation like a job interview, or you put on your nice voice when you're talking to a server at a restaurant, or you talk softer and in baby tones when you're talking to a toddler or an infant. And if you're in a situation with a bunch of adults, you can be a little bit more gruff. None of those pieces of you are not your personality. All that stuff together is your personality, including the mask. And so I think that when a lot of people say, I wish you wouldn't have to mask for your videos, I think they're assuming that I'm choosing to put on a specific tone of voice in order to make you guys feel more comfortable. When in reality, it's me manifesting a part of my own personality that already exists and bringing it to the forefront to make me feel more comfortable. So masking isn't always a burden, it's just exhausting. Like, working out isn't a burden to people who like working out, but it wears you out for a while, and you can only do it for so long before you start to get weaker and more lethargic, and you just need a rest. And I think that's what masking is like. So a lot of people have said to me, I wish you wouldn't edit your videos so much because we like the real you. The edited version of me is the real me. I just want it to sound smoother. Ignore my groaning, grumbling washer in the background. So anyway, that is to say, all of that is to say, that masking, at least for me, is not putting on a personality that I wish I had. And when I edit my videos, I'm not pretending to be more energetic. I'm accessing my energetic side. I'm accessing a part of my personality that already exists. And accessing that can be exhausting, but I like that in my videos because let's be fair here. What I'm doing every week is basically putting on a TV show. Every week I'm producing a professional piece of content, or as professional as I can make it without owning a studio, right? But I'm producing a show, and those shows need to have at least some semblance of energy to them if I want people to watch them. So what I get a lot is that people are like, well, we will watch you no matter what. And I really appreciate that. Like, it makes me happy to the point of being sappy when I hear things like that. But also, if I want the channel to grow, I have to produce pieces of content that people as a whole who don't know anything about me will love and will subscribe to and will keep coming back to watch. And if I just put out videos like this of me with my naturally kind of slow voice with pauses and all the ums and things like that in it, it's going to annoy some people who don't really care whether I'm autistic or not. They're just bored and sitting on the couch or laying in bed or on the bus home from work, and all they want is just something that entertains them. And so I never want this channel to be a piece of activism for autistic people or for anything that I believe in, because my channel's not about activism, and it's not about shining lights on subjects that I care deeply about. I mean, it is to a certain extent. If you watch my videos, you'll get lots of philosophy and psychology and stuff. But that's not the main point of the channel. When it comes down to it, you boil it all down to its basic concept. I'm producing entertainment. And yeah, I do talk a lot about autism, and I do talk a lot about mental health and mental illness and disorders. And I want to bring light to those things, and I want people to understand them. But I also started this channel for myself with no intention of it ever getting huge. As a part of my autism, I like watching videos of people who clean houses, really trashed out houses, and I like to watch it in fast motion. So I have what a lot of autistic people have, which is when they get into a subject, they really get into it. So when I started watching Clean with Barbie and Ari Katarina, I watched all of them. Like, I would binge them all day. As soon as I got done with my daily responsibilities, I would just watch those all day, every free second I had. And I found more, and then I ran out of videos and found more and more. And eventually I got through so many of them, I was running out of things to watch. So I started my own, and it wasn't really done for anybody else, which is why I didn't narrate my first several videos. That's why I just put music in them, because I would put those on and watch fast motion cleaning and ignore the fact that it was me. I just wanted to see the room go from chaotic to orderly, and that scratched an itch I didn't know I had. So as the videos grew and the channel grew, I started narrating, and then as an addition to the entertainment that I was doing for other people, which is the cleaning thing, I would throw in things that I noticed about the world, and I would throw in things that I noticed about psychology and philosophy and my views on the world, and just fortunately people learned something from that. But anyway, I don't want to get off on a giant tangent. It's just, I think it's a large misconception about what masking is in autistic people, and I think it would help people to know what it's like from my point of view. It's not like that for every autistic person, and it makes me feel weird to even say that, because a lot of times I'll make a generalized comment about, say, people with ADHD and say, in general, these traits happen with people who have ADHD, and then I'll inevitably get people who are like, well, not all ADHD people are like that. And it's very difficult for me to not be like, no crap, like, I understand that. Everyone else understands that. I'm not sure who you're arguing with. I'm not sure who you're having a debate with here. Anyway, I don't want to complain about comments. 99% of my comments are totally fine. It's just, I'm getting off subject. So anyway, we are going to do the walkthrough of that new house tomorrow, and then we will start that house this week. So there should be a brand new cleaning video for you guys this coming weekend. I don't know how much we'll be able to get done between here and there, but we are back to cleaning hoarded houses for free this week. In the meantime, I'm going to watch Fife Free Cleaning. If you haven't watched them, they're wonderful. They're doing a live right now, but normally they do what I do. If I can remember when I upload this, I'll put a link to their channel. It's definitely worth it. But thanks for watching the channel. And if you haven't subscribed to mine yet, please do. We are very rapidly approaching 700,000 subscribers at this point. And my ultimate goal is 1 million so that I can get the gold plaque, because I think it's shiny and pretty and I want one. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully this video made you understand masking a little bit better, because I think it's a grossly misunderstood phenomena in people with autism, and I just wanted to clear up any misconceptions. So I will see you guys this weekend, members. I will see you on Wednesday, and later.